I don't know what to do about this situation because the reality of it is they left me no room to escape what they were doing to me through the targeting and through just leaving me so hard pressed in every single age and every single place of my life to ensure that their crimes were to not be seen by anybody and especially not to be seen by me. So before I was even like a little kid able to like speak and learn, have my own developmental skills set intact and in motion in my life, they had already hijacked my reality in a way that was unwitting to me to not be able to process my own thoughts, or to be able to process my own thoughts to be able to even suggest to somebody that I was being hurt on in a weird way, that was through poisoning. I learned this poisoning because it was the same things that were happening to me throughout all time. And it took me 42 and a quarter years to actually figure it out. But once I figured it out and I started moving differently this time that I had figured it out for the final time, I figured it out for the final time, and the final draw was I need my autonomy and I need to stay away from these people, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, they've left me without any kind of breathing room to move in my life how I would otherwise had wanted to move, including establishing my own love life and things like that just cuts too deep for me to suggest that I don't have the right to come out here and speak my story. So I'm just going to go through the 29 ways that did leave me so hard pressed inside of my reality without the room to escape, and my efforts here is to hopefully help others that are potentially dealing with something that they might not understand, and hopefully it can help them realize sooner than when I did that they're being coded up in this type of very erroneous, egregious act of betrayal coming from people that are close to you. So number one is that because of the poisoning, it hijacked my own ability to use my thoughts before I could fully form my own dreams in life. Secondly, they would mimic my voice and energy to gain trust in me, meaning they would get to know and understand who I was and where I wanted to go in life, but they would utilize that energy to only gain trust, to only establish more sabotage towards my person. So third is the manipulation of my relationships. They turned loved ones into their use of weaponizing my love life and weaponizing other areas of my life. Fourth is they withheld validation on purpose to starve my spirit from having any sense of affirmation coming from the people that I thought would support me, just not even trying to. And the reason is you hear it all over, is that narcissists in that fashion, they have a superiority complex and they want to stomp others down to rise up, to make themselves seem better, and it's just not the case. Number 5 is they trigger my trauma constantly. Basically, through the poisoning, if they triggered me, then they would be pushing you into reaction, and then they'd blame you for that reaction. Or if you were because it'll make you one of many things, but one is enraged, second is frustrated and confused, and third is an utter sadness that comes over your body like you just don't even understand it. And all of these situations, you don't really understand it because your brain is starving for oxygen when a person arsenic abuses you. And so it isolated me without being able to get out of that state of reality, without even knowing that that was what was happening to me at the time. Again, I had to learn these things by patterns. And I wouldn't, like, if I was still in that same boat today, there wouldn't be all of my videos online. There wouldn't be me speaking out. And so they would blame me for basically being too sensitive, even. Like, as if your sensitivity or your availability to cry has to do with anything else other than what was actually happening circumstantially, even without your awareness of it. So next is number 6. They literally wanted me to question my own person, my own self, my own mind, my own stability. And they do this until you don't trust your own intuition. And it literally happens because you're pushed and isolated so much to having to question and doubt your reality. This is done by gaslighting. To where you literally don't trust your own intuition and your own discernment, because nothing makes sense. Not only what should make sense doesn't make sense, but what doesn't make sense also obviously doesn't make any sense to you when you're poisoned up. So what I mean by that is that prior to being poisoned up, if 1 + 1 = 2 and it makes sense, after being poisoned up, 1 + 1 = 2 just doesn't make any sense. Nothing. You can't make sense of anything, is what happens to a person. So next is, that's a good description. You know 1 + 1 = 2, but there's certain things that you can't even wrap your mind around, is what I'm getting at. Next is number 7. They isolated me emotionally, even when I was surrounded by other people. It would be anything and everything to just make, kind of like a play as far as like what was to be happening when I was around, specifically for their fear of not allowing me to have any kind of substantial character exchanges or conversations with anybody. And this as well led me to realize their greater fear when it came to me. Number 8 is they stalked me spiritually and digitally, stealing my creative blueprints. This basically means that when they stalked me in my spirit, they would steal away my own free will of that spirit, or my own sense of self of my spirit. And when they stalk you digitally and they're hacking you and stealing from you, they're literally stealing your intellectual property, and that it's not just your creative ability that goes out the window. It's legitimately your life, because you don't know where it's coming from, and the people that are doing it to you, you couldn't also ever see them doing what they were doing. You didn't ever want to think that they could stoop to that level, and they did. So, like, for the example of my super long journal that just disappeared out of my computer before my life went to hell, basically, back in the day, it literally just pushed me and forced me into aloneness and loneliness. And then I figured that that's exactly where they wanted me when I was pushed into the homeless shelter at, shortly thereafter that they, I didn't see it that it was them. I didn't see that it was them wanting that for me. I saw it as that somebody wanted me there, though. That all my footsteps on the ground from then moving forward was alternated, like it was an alternative reality of what I otherwise could have lived. And so I saw that, and I felt it that way as well. So I realized not only was I having a job that didn't pay me, I had the illegal actions of trying to take money from me for the illegal activities that they could leave me in a hard-pressed way, meaning the state, wanting to have me pay so much money to the state for these things that were taken over in my life. So, probation, classes, anger management, or whatever that they could trump up from that abuse that was happening to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's really hard to put it that way, because when you are in a reactive state of mind and you don't know what's happening, well, then you don't really know. You don't have like the availability of reasoning through 1 + 1 = 2 to discover this monstrous of a crime happening to you. You just don't have it within you. So I did realize that I needed to work and work hard, and to not only to like get out of that place, but that they legitimately wanted to keep me down and keep me in that place, because they were obviously making money off of me by having this created crime over me to make me out to be their crime. So it's not only projection from the people that I should have been able to trust the most within family and my circle of friends, but it was also projection from the very system that's supposed to protect me from these things that were happening to me, where even if I couldn't see it, there had to have been somewhere, anywhere that you could go to try and help for discovery of very heinous crimes. But even reporting it to the police, nothing's done. Even reporting things to the FBI, nothing's done. Even reporting to counties statewide, and even worldwide, even, and within your country, nothing matters. Nothing gets anywhere because of, I think, what is a very heavy syndicate, a very heavy bureaucracy that's circling around the enchantment, basically, of these proxy artists and traffickers, and protecting the pedophile elite, which would be protecting my own father. So next we have number 9, where they planted false narratives and then let me to burn in the consequences. So yeah, that's much like what I was talking about just a minute ago, is that they planted the false narratives. They would plant false ticketing, or being that I was paying my child support at the time and could prove it, that they were taking away my license and then allowing me to have to pay the consequences of their actions over me, not allowing me to work, not allowing me to even go after the money and work jobs that I've had. So it wasted my time and energy inside of jobs that I've had. You go to the Department of Labor and Industries, they drop the case. They say they're going to take up the case, and then they say they can't get a hold of the people, so they just drop the case. Okay, I thought you guys were there to make sure that that doesn't happen. I thought that was literally the institution of that job. But whatever. So obviously I was stuck into homelessness without $3,000 that they didn't want to pay me in this company, and on top of it I had over $3,000 of having to pay the system back for utilizing the identity theft on their behalf. So that could have been like a washed situation if I was just paid correctly in the first place, but I wasn't paid correctly. And then because of those areas of my life where it's like you literally are spending your time and energy for work, while at the same time they're spending their time and energy to corrupt your life, and on top of it you're being poisoned, not having an idea of how to get out of it because nothing makes sense. So not only does the actual instances not make sense, but then you're having a hard time making sense of it in the general. So I figured, well, I need to not only work for myself, but I need to work to get what I was supposed to be paid back to me, and I needed to work for the crux of the system, these crooks that legitimately wanted to put me inside of the books for all of these projected crimes that were happening to me, which is exactly what they did. So next is, where was I at here? Is that 9? Yeah. Next is number 10, where it's to control my timing and opportunities that delay my blessings by design. That really was within the last one, where it literally is controlling your timing and your energy of your opportunities that you have in front of you, and it delays income, and it's to delay that income within the design of projecting onto you. Next is the weaponized transparency, using my honesty as ammunition against me. They're still doing this today. They're not like coming around trying to help me figure out what's happening to me, because what's been happening to me has been the abuse that they have been injuring me with. So their goal is not to have help for me. Their goal is, if anyone does want to help me in that circumstance, they stonewall them, or they gatekeep their own, basically, from even being able to see my work or anything like that, see what I'm doing online. And it wouldn't even matter if I was doing this online or if I'm doing something else in the job world. It's to have certain parties get involved specifically to instigate or get poison you up, or just to do something. They literally have a motivation by being there. It's happened in almost every single one of my jobs, leaving me with people that I legitimately didn't question at the time, or wouldn't question at the time, but now I do, because I can see it all, and it's legitimately everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. If it's not to have somebody internalized inside of the business, then it's to have a proxy outside of the business, a proxy lover for the case of my last job, to make sure that I was not going to be able to make it here with the intent that these people had to take over my life and not allow me to get out of the abuse, basically, to keep me heavily disregarded in my life, as though I am somebody that can just be mentally, physically, spiritually, and ethically abused on all fronts and all levels, to keep me a poisoned up victim since I was a child. Next is number 13, where they try to monetize off of your pain, and they profit from the very struggle that they helped create. They do this many, many ways, but one way that I'll just leave this house and this situation out of it, because obviously I've spoken out about how that transfer of deed, the equity, not allowing me to have the help to even get a loan in time before having the bills go under, with their intent to happen, so that I couldn't make it. Any true broker and any true person would help you figure out those things, whereas my own brother was not trying to help me figure out those things and only utilizing these systems to alienate me, or to alienate me into this crime. But before, when I was in Stacy, Minnesota, it was Jesse coming and getting involved to poison me, specifically with the intent of them having already hacked me, and I'm creating new accounts and going through and creating new passwords and things like that for different new accounts. Well, the fact of the matter is that they stole my identity like they always had, but this case was to have gained access to me through trust of my brother, mind you, to then move around my non-fungible tokens with them recording the IP address, the place that it was going to, and the time, specifically so later they can come in and just take it. Because the blockchain never forgets, but you might. And if you're being hacked, obviously, and pushed around in this way, you're not going to be able to get out from under. And their goal is to literally strip you of self, make you have to question your reality so much that you're forced in kind of a suicidality. And I'm not suicidal, but I'm suggesting that that's where they really wanted to take things, because you're so hard pressed. You're just like, you literally don't know what to do. Not only from the poisonings, but with what the actual reality is of the psychological operation that they're doing and portraying inside of your life. So next is, they poisoned up my safe spaces. There was literally no place that I could actually get rest in my life. And when I did finally find a place of rest, it was anything that they would get to try and gain access to me, meaning to get inside of my mind, to get inside of my head, to figure out where I'm at, what my next motive of operandi is, and where I was going, what I'm planning on doing, so that they can move in on my life in order to perform their next, go-to crime over my life, to block me from seeing that I was being completely identity stripped. And that's number 15, is blocking my vision spiritually, and then masking that truth with more confusion. They also, number 16 is they're programming others to doubt your reality, meaning they will manipulate and suggest that I'm crazy, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or this, that, and the other, in order so that you would be forced to having to carry all of that weight alone. And it's also to make sure that you're isolated for their crimes. Number 17 is they use my love life as a decoy, just to drain and discard me. And it's to play up that discard in such a fashion that's not only poisoning you, but it's to discard you, then pull the weights on even the programming of others and things like that, to isolate you with absolute intent, to isolate you to their crime. So another way that they could use love as a decoy is to suggest that they had love for you only because they were aiming for themselves to drain you in some fashion and discard of you, where even if it's inviting you in, you don't see each other often, things like that. Even if it's inviting you in, it was always to do one thing, and that was letting you go poisoned again, to say you wanted to work I was planning on working till 3 a.m. Getting out of there, I couldn't work past 11 or midnight because of how that feeling is, and me realizing and having the stages of me realizing this was just a nightmare in and of itself. Like, you mean to tell me that this is literally the case? These people have been poisoning you this way since you were a kid, and that you have not been able to fucking see it. And now you do. Like, talk about a fucking nightmare. So obviously they're going to try and insinuate to other people that I don't know what I'm talking about, because they're not trying to like be around to help me. You know, the only way they're trying to be around is actually to set up a decoy to hurt me, get inside of my energy, and fuck up that energy in any which way that they can. Next is they would mirror my energy just to destroy me, where they couldn't naturally become that person. They had to literally like suggest through their phony attributes that they were just like me in that fashion, literally, so that they could get inside of your mind, basically. And number 19 is that they chained me to their curses. So they're cursing me, but they're utilizing their own ways that they have been cursed to project it onto me, hoping that I'd sync with that fate that they were instigating to create. It's really hard to suggest to that one and to suggest to how that one happens, but for every individual out here, you'll have to kind of figure it out for yourself. But they're literally trying to curse your reality and project onto you, because you know you have more character inside of yourself than these people ever have had for you. You've even had more character for yourself for these people and to care for these people than they ever had for you to be working in this kind of way over a person. Next is number 20. They turned me into the villain in their twisted play when I was simply just trying to survive and get away from things that I couldn't understand and comprehend, and having coming into comprehension of it, taken me a longer time to actually confront them, because last time I did that, I was wiped out of my memory. I wouldn't have gotten this house. I wouldn't have moved in certain ways that I had moved, simply because they were wanting to put me in place and put me in position if I didn't die in that first situation, which is what I believe the goal highly was, by making a concoction of that Metamucil and arsenic poisoning, because that will literally turn into cement, like worse than the cement inside of your colon, and then when you're not able to go, you literally will die. Simple as that. It stops your heart. It affects your heart to where you're basically imploding on the inside. And it could just be looked at as, in an autopsy, as nothing to see here. You see what I'm saying? So their covert crime they just get away with, and they play up their podunky little faces and half-lives and just go on living. Just the same way as they always have. I've never fucking mattered to these people. And they can't even fucking pretend as if they've ever fucking gave a fuck about me. So that's why I'm out online in the first place. They wouldn't be supporting me if I was just doing this work as far as a spiritual growth or anything like that, not speaking out, which was the original intention of me coming out on YouTube, is to create a funneling system for what I think is the coolest website in the whole entire world. But and there's a lot of cool websites, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people doing a lot of great things in the world, but just nothing compares in my mind to what my mission would be with Heartworks. And so if I could have just been working that mission, I'm getting at is the fact that they wouldn't support me in that mission. They wouldn't support me in work. They wouldn't support me anywhere. It was about hacking me, hijacking my reality, and going to work on me as if I'm their property. I'm not their fucking property. Next is them turning my life into that silent battlefield so that no one would see the war that I was in. I think I really just kind of explained that one. So I'm going to go on to 22. They exploited my compassion, knowing that you'd always give them one more chance. And it's not really about giving them one more chance. It's that you have a forgiving heart and you care about them. You're not able to see how they're using that way, using your compassion that you would otherwise be sharing within and wanting to share within that compassion, but they exploited your compassion and your forgiveness. They didn't take it as grace and, in any kind of honorable way. So it's not really that you're giving them one more chance, it's that you just are already in family or relationship with them to love them in ways that love is not coming back to you in return. Next is they interrupted that divine timing, inserting chaos right before your breakthrough, right before you're allowed to get out from under. What I'm going to use as this example is the fact that when I'm working at Strong, having an instigated relationship being played inside of my life with the intent of poisoning me to take me out of my performance at work, to take me off of my job and my performance ability at work, and not being able to see these things, going up to even my coworker saying something happened to me, I don't know what's going on, like I feel like I'm gonna faint, or like I literally just don't feel right, like I can't breathe. I wasn't even saying it as like I want to go home. You know what I mean? Like, but legitimately I did. I wanted to leave. I couldn't tolerate the way I felt inside my body. And it's that same thing that happened over and over and over and over again in my life. So it was literally staking me out from financial security to be able to get out of the 20 plus years of fighting homelessness to have a home and be able to pay for my home, to be able to continuously go to work, being instigated inside of a relationship that you should be able to trust, at least to say, if I want to be with you, I should be able to trust you, and if I don't want to be with you, I should be able to trust you that you're able to walk away from me without trying to cause me harm, which is exactly what they did for months on end, knowing far well that I wanted them to leave me the fuck be. Good, y'all had your fucking affairs, y'all did what you fucking did. Now now that I've caught on to it, y'all are working on me still to try and take me out. Fuck you. Leave me the fuck be. You have no fucking right to do what you fucking did to me. None. At all. The only right a person should have when you're calling back your autonomy and you're saying leave me the fuck be is you leave that person be. You don't get to sit there and play about their life. So this was the chaos that took away my breakthrough, which has left me in the worst chaos that my life has ever had. Up to date, to where I'm at right now. Searching for other people to help me establish a new way of breakthrough. Because these people just aren't planning on helping me. They never were. And because of what they did, I don't think that they can. And furthermore, as far as I'm concerned, you have no right after what you've done to me. None whatsoever. Need my energy only to exploit me in that fashion and exploit my availability to love and be loved in return. That in and of itself is enough for me to suggest, even if I am wrong, I'm telling you to leave me be, leave me fuck be. You have no right getting up in my energy in that kind of way at all. And nobody should ever think that these people have any kind of right to your life and your livelihood in that fashion, ever. Next is they spoke curses in secret while smiling to my face. They would use these spell works basically to instigate that I'm somebody I'm not, because it was one Christmas to another where it would be like one thing being said to the next thing being said to suggesting that Matt's a piece of shit. You should see how he fights. He fights really dirty. While at the same time, leaving me in that state of mind, unable to speak my thoughts, to, I think, do one of two things. Either isolate me, which I chose to do. I chose thinking that I can't get my thoughts out. I can't formulate what's going on in here to actually suggest that, and even just say, you're a piece of shit for doing what you're doing right here, and just literally calling him out for that being an actionable step to try and do the second part, which I think was even thought of, to put me into reactionary state, to fight him right there at Christmas, being a complete piece of shit that he was, to fight him specifically to use that same reaction against me. That's a fucking bitch move right there, if you ask me. That's a fucking cowardice ass fucking piece of shit move. You want to poison somebody up and then push them? Push them. As if you're not triggering that person into a reaction. In other words, fuck you. Next is 26, redesigning your reality, forcing you to question what's real. Yeah, they would be coming up, and I'll use the example of these two proxy of Jesse knowing these people to perform this crime, and my own girlfriend, and many girlfriends, mind you, that were used in proxy to determine my life and keep me poisoned up. I think it's pretty fucked up. But in here, specifically, this place, it would be me going to work, them gaslighting my reality. Either I have to feel like I've got to come home from my emotional stance of having love for my girlfriend. So they would utilize my love, suggesting that something bad is happening in order to not only stop me at work, but to have to come home in that circumstance to realize that things are moved around. They've been utilizing my coffee, utilizing my coffee machine, utilizing my water, utilizing my bed, utilizing everything that I had been working so hard to have sanctified inside of my life for my own purposes, not for them to gaslight me and destroy my reality. So fuck them from what they did. Because it's all designed by proxy too. It's not just your normal fucking affair. It's just not. A normal affair, oh, you happen to sleep with somebody that you shouldn't have slept with. Bye. Leave me the fuck be. Next is number 27, they literally sucked my joy and my passions out of me until it got me to doubt my own gifts. Like, people think that this is easy, coming out here online, suggesting to a truth that I wouldn't even want to have happen to anybody, happening to me. I didn't even want to piece this together. You think that I wanted to piece this crime together and have and reach discovery of this crime? No. I didn't have a choice. It was either them getting away with taking my fucking life, or me fighting for my life, realizing that, okay, all of this debt, all of this homelessness, all of this institutionalized crime over me has been all of the same thing. And if it's not the same thing, then these people are playing judge, jury, and executioner with the system that stands, just to utilize the system for their own plans. So it literally sucks the joy right out of you. Anything that you used to find joy in, you don't find joy in it anymore. It's aimed to make you depressed, as though you're supposed to just go in for help, and it's all mental help. It's all mental. There's no physical thing that they can do to draw out the reason of arsenic or the reason of being attacked with cyanide. They're not even trying. So you're left on this battlefield alone, isolated, with the intent of these people to redesign your whole reality in this fashion. Number 28 is they left me grieving. People themselves while they were still alive. Just realizing that they were dead in their loyalties to me, dead in their availabilities to me, to actually be here as a party inside of my life who wanted to help me grow. No, they instead left me grieving the people that I thought they were in my life, which sucks because if you're going to grieve a person's life, it should be in death itself, not the way these people are moving in life. To move about these plans in manipulative ways. So I hope you understand that, because it's the way I can explain it is just you literally feel like these people are dead to you, and it's not by your own choice. It's by what they've been doing to you that got you, and if it is your choice, it's because of what they've done that's allowed you to suggest, I need to call back my autonomy and my person because fuck what they've done to me in the general. And then it's just, you have to grieve the fact that they were loved by you. You loved these people and you needed them in your life, not in the ways that they were, but you needed them in your life in ways that they portrayed, not in a otherworldly fashion in order to drain you up out of your spirit so that you can't focus at work, focus on driving, focus just in anything. It's literally stealing away your availability of all joy, all passion, all happiness, anything you want to do in your life. Like, it's legitimately the sanctity of my house that I wanted to have, and the sanctity of my relationships that I wanted to have, the sanctity and joy that I would have wanted to create with these people, even network marketing or creating a business or being deck builders, or who knows, maybe starting the best home building business in the entire planet. But they don't have any core action that they wanted to actually take inside of that fashion, simply because you might realize what they were doing to you the entire time. It literally leaves you having to grieve where they hadn't ever grieved the loss of you. They wanted to create the loss of you and just go waltz on as if nothing happened in the first place when it did. So, though they might not grieve, though they might want to be crazy making covert, malignant narcissists and sociopaths, you're an empathic person, and you still literally care about these people, but they just don't, they don't see it. I don't want to allow them ever back into my life ever fucking again. Like, no. I don't care how good you play to try and get in my energy again. I'm not going to know whether or not you're fucking with me, or you're just like you're trying to get into my energy again so you can just complete the mission of taking my life. Or I wouldn't know if they were serious and actually did finally repent of their sins and feel really bad for everything that they had done since I was a fucking kid. I'm sure that they do, but as far as I'm concerned, you can stay the fuck back away from me. You want to fucking play about my life like I'm just property. Not your fucking property. So obviously they couldn't handle even these videos. And even if it wasn't these videos that I'm making about the truth of the matter, even if it was just for my heartworks, just like I said, they wouldn't support me. They wouldn't share my work. They wouldn't like it. They wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's obvious to me that they can't support me. It's not just that they won't support me. It's that because of what they've done, you can sense the fear that they have, where they literally can't support you. They have to remove all support from you. All of it. Oh, you want to be a supporter of him? Bye. That's why I'm out here in the first place, looking for the solutions, looking for breakthrough, looking to establish new connections with people that want to actually take out a real mission in life and really take on serious changes that this world desperately needs, mind you. So many people grieving in these kinds of ways, but you shouldn't have to grieve to people who are alive, as if they're just completely dead to your loyalties and dead to who you wanted to be with them. They don't have, if they don't want to see it and they don't want to move in that way, that's on them. But I don't want anything to do with them anymore, at all. They left me afraid for my life, and they want to deflect from all of the actions that they've taken to leave me in that state of mind in the first place. So the last one is 29. They made me carry all of this pain in silences throughout all of my life. Because the world that I didn't know happening to me left me crying, left me weeping inside of a man of myself that was being kept in these unnoticeable chains of how they would be playing about me. So I don't want to be carried up into the silences of pains that I can't see. And I don't want them to make me and turn me into somebody that I'm not, simply because I was left there crying day in and day out, trying to figure this stuff out as a kid. I was left there having to find places to go to when I've been homeless, when I've been working for people, when I had been breaking down at work, breaking down at ITI, not knowing what's going on in my reality to figure it out. But now that I did, I figured it out. Just like that lyric, the bigger the river, the bigger the drought. Yeah, no, I figured it out though. They really created a full-length scale of a bloodbath of my reality. And they know the fuck well what they did. So they want to go ahead and side with these people. They want to go side with these cucks. Go side with them. You're just as good as the world. You don't have any kind of spirit of Jesus within you. And don't tell me I'm safe. Don't try and play like I'm safe when these people are literally dimming up my sight, keeping me locked inside of that place inside of my chest with the weight of this type of warfare that's leaving me unable to fight, to basically see through that whole damn read through, which is why I'm writing lyrics in that same fashion, because I'm hoping to get my truth out to the public in a way that can't be deniable, because all I have ever been is denied life, liberty, justice, and my own pursuit of happiness, including my own love life, and including my own autonomy. So where are the people that can defend me? Not defend these people like what's seemingly happening in my life all over the fucking board. Not even allowing me to take that stand against my father, being the only one left in my family that can. The only one left. And they want to play about this system as if it's not happening when it is. And I believe that there's heavy proof out there. If they just did a tiny bit of ethical hacking to the monstrous hacking of my reality, they would find a whole fucking network. So until next time, I hope that you support my work. And if you're dealing with any of these issues, I would just like to say that you're worth more than what you're receiving. You're worth more beauty in your life than what this world seemingly has capacity to hold. And I truly mean that. So until next time, God bless, and I hope that you're all taking care of yourselves.